Hello, my name is Monica Campbell, and for my final assignment, I will be discussing the representation of females accompanied by cats throughout Renaissance and modern art. Albert Durer's famous engraving, The Fall of Man, made in 1504, depicts Adam and Eve in a very dense, cold, very German forest in the company of several types of animals depicting the four humors. Humors at this time represented human health when in balance of one another. The humors are melancholic or sadness as an elk, phlegmatic or calm as an ox, sanguine or optimism as a rabbit, and choleric or anger as a cat. The cat sits anxiously at Eve's feet, ready to pounce on the mouse conveniently at Adam's feet. This is representative of the male counterpart of mankind as being weak-minded and easily coerced by the temperamental female ready to pounce. The cat is representative of a free-thinking, carefree, and untamed being that does as it so pleases at its own free will. It also shows that all the humors are seemingly balanced, although on the brink of anxious collapse, as Eve takes the apple placed oddly on a fig tree. Both Adam and Eve stand in classical contrapposto and are rendered accordingly of the newly developed rendering referred to as chiaroscuro, where bodies are rendered in light and shadow according to an appropriate light source. Later depictions of cats in Baroque art display naughty children taunting a cat with a crawdad as a sort of how not to behave lesson to be learned in Dutch Baroque art. The cat, as a sort of ongoing theme, is easily angered and about to bite or scratch the naughty taunting kids. In the Rococo era, depictions of promiscuity were common amongst the social elite. In Nicolas Levrance's Young Woman at Her Toilette, painted in the 1780s, we see a woman in a boudoir setting dressing after what was most likely a sexual act, seeing as clothes, along with ribbons and flowers, are just tossed about the room. The cat at her feet plays with her stocking ribbons, invoking carefree, lustful promiscuity on her part. Lastly, Manet paints his Olympia. This initially was painted in 1863 as an ode to Titian's Venus of Urbino, that was painted in 1538. Both are reclining nudes of young women that gaze at the viewer from within their living space. Critics, however, were appalled by Manet's rendition, however, for several reasons. Olympia at the time, for one, was the name of a popular headstrong female character in a novel by Alexandre Dumas, as well as a very popular courtesan in Paris. Though both comparatively gaze at the audience, there is a certain sense of stoic stubbornness to Manet's, whereas Titian's gazes coyfully. A servant brings her a bouquet of flowers from what one may assume as a gentleman caller. and you as the viewer have just interrupted her receiving the flattering gift, though she doesn't seem to mind. If you look closely to the right at the foot of the bed, there is a startled black cat staring back at the viewer as well. Black cats at this time were considered superstitious beasts. One critic was specifically insulted by the inclusion of the cat alone. Had it not been for the feral, aroused black cat at the end of the bed, maybe it wouldn't be such a horrid disaster piece. Once again, the cat is representative of the free-thinking, independent, untamed female. It has also been noted that her skin looked corpse-like and her fingernails dirty. She is now an interpretation of the ideal modern female nude, not idealized by pose or blushed rosy cheeks, but painted strictly as she is in her present sense. This concludes my presentation of females painted and rendered alongside cats. Thanks so much.